only 2 nominees that went through what I call proper vetting. Honorable Kwabna Minta Akando and our respected friend and brother Sami Okujeto Ablakwa, who is to assume the foreign ministry portfolio. That is if we even complete. Mr. Speaker, he has called for a second vetting. That is student days politics energy is still in him. So he's even calling for second vetting. Mr. Speaker, they took advantage of that situation to push all 9 nominees through. Do you call this vetting? And then you come back to make an application that the president must constitute his cabinet. Mr. Speaker, I am opposed to this application, and if Mr. Speaker is not minded by the good arguments made and still want to grant his application, which in my view is very lame. It's very lame. Mr. Speaker, it's entirely in your hands.
Thank you very much. I've granted the waiver because I know the minority leader himself is desirous to have the waiver granted. So, honourable members, the motion has been moved and has been seconded. This is procedural, and the question is all those in favour of the motion listed 2 in the other paper addendum say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now, let's move to motion 3.
Right, Honourable Speaker. Because we are everyday learning, I want to place on record that once the motion is moved and seconded, you can oppose it. Right, Honourable Speaker. I beg to move that this Honourable House adopts the 11th report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as Minister. And Right Honourable Speaker, in doing so, I present the 11th report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as ministers. The following people. Right Honourable Speaker, first on the list is Honourable Kwabna Minta Akando as Minister Designate for Health, Honourable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa as Minister Designate for Foreign Affairs, Honourable Seydou Isifu as Minister of State Designate for Climate Change and Sustainability, Mrs. Charity Gardner as Minister Designate for Ahiafor region, Mr. Salisu B. Awurbe Isifu as Minister Designate for Savannah region, Mr. Wilbert Petty Brentum as Minister Designate for Western North region, Mr. Joseph Nelson as Minister Designate for Western region, Mr. Joseph Adai Akwaboa as Minister Designate for Bono region, Mr. Francis Owusu Entry as Minister Designate for Bono East region, Honorable Felix Kwachi Oposu as Minister of State Designate for Government Communications, Mr. Edumua Ekopeni Ochre as Minister Designate for Central region, Mr. Poison Charles Luanga as Minister Designate for Upper West region. Mr. Speaker, I will urge the Hansard Department to capture the entire report, 103 pages report as having been read. Mr. Speaker, I proceed to read the conclusion of the committee. Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Article 78(1) of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and Standing Order 217, the committee considered the nominations submitted by His Excellency the President, after thorough deliberations, the committee finds the nominees competent, knowledgeable, and well-suited for their respective ministerial roles. The committee therefore recommends to the House by consensus the adoption of its report and the approval of the nomination of Honorable Kobana Minta Akando as Minister for Health, Mr. Samuel Okujeto, Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa as Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Seidu Isifu as Minister of State, Climate Change and Sustainability, Mrs. Charity Gardner as Minister for Ahiafor Region, Mr. Salisu B. Awurebe Isifu as Minister for Savannah Region, Mr. Wilbert Petty Brentum as Minister for Western North Region, Mr. Joseph Nelson as Minister for Western Region, Mr. Joseph Adai Akoboa as Minister for Bono Region, Mr. Francis Owusu Entry as Minister for Bono East Region, Honorable Phyllis Kwachi Ofosu as Minister of State responsible for Government Communications, Mr. Edumua Ekopeni Ochri as Minister for Central Region, and Mr. Poison Charles Luanga as Minister for Upper West Region. Right, Honorable Speaker, I urge the House to similarly adopt the committee's report by consensus. I humbly submit.
Yes, honourable members, the substantive motion has been moved by the chairman of the committee. Yes, the ranking of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise in seconding the motion. In doing so, I would want some observations to be properly captured for Hansard in respect of the reports we have. Mr. Speaker, first on Honorable Kobana Minta Akando, it is without doubt that the minority together with the majority agreed to approve him by consensus, and there is no problem at all on his nominee, on his report and the decision we took. Mr. Speaker, on the second nominee, Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, the recommendation on page 31 of the 103 report reads, prior to the votes, the minority recuse themselves. Nonetheless, the committee recommends to the House by consensus the approval of the nomination of Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa as Minister of Foreign Affairs. Mr. Speaker, this would have to be corrected. Our side had a certain understanding of Mr. Speaker's communication. That notwithstanding, we want to presume this to be a regular vetting, though we recuse ourselves at a point. The conclusion here is that the recommendation is by majority decision. Our side is not part of it, and we will take a vote on this matter. Having said so, for the records, Mr. Speaker, on policy, the nominee distinguished himself on the issues regarding the portfolio he is going to occupy. The nominee himself indicated in his CV that he is the chair of the ORA, which committee we have questioned its constitutionality. We are not against any desire of a government to investigate a crime. Not at all. Crime is a crime, and if somebody decides to commit a crime, the laws of the land must deal with the person. But as it is known, if all men find a man's hand in a till, his guilt must be proven. Due process of law is what we've enshrined in our laws. A moment ago, the leader of government business took us through the rule of law when he was commenting on J.B. Dankwa and his contribution to national history. So, Mr. Speaker, we are against his chair of this aura and the activities in the country. We think, and we hold this whole view firmly, their actions are taking this country back. They must allow due process to take place in our country. As a country, we have used institutions to deal with situations. That is why, apart from the mainstream police service, we enacted a law to establish Yoko. Not only that, we enacted a law to establish Financial Crime Office Center. That is why we set up the Office of the Special Prosecutor. That is why we have the NIB. That is why today you have various divisions at the police service with specialization in different crimes. So, Mr. Speaker, we don't have to appear too populist by encouraging some of these unconstitutional interventions. He proudly said he's a member of that. Mr. Speaker, let me also state he's a chair and a member. Mr. Speaker, I want to state for the records, although some members of this committee have been denying it, we've heard businessmen complaining that this so-called aura has been going to their houses and their office premises with video cameras, photographs, taking pictures. They have been using drones. Mr. Speaker, I here, as a leader of my side, I have been a victim of it, yet they say that they don't know. Mr. Speaker, the former defense minister, last week, he called upon me, the chief whip, and the clerk to parliament. They chased his vehicle in the name of aura. Let's be very clear. Certain things that are happening in this country. Can I finish? Honorable colleagues, please, you need to listen. You need to listen, Mr. Speaker. They chased his vehicle all the way to this Parliament House. And when we made enquiries, apparently it was not coming from national security. And those in charge said that they were sent by aura. Mr. Speaker, national security said these were not their men, but they were using national security vehicle, and when they were interrogated further, they said that they are coming from aura. Mr. Speaker, we need to be careful which destination we want to drive the vehicle called Ghana to. I am happy that the oral committee is denying. That should tell you that when you set up such a populist body, people take advantage. Such a populist committee, people take advantage. Scared of what? People take advantage to settle scores. Mr. Speaker, we do not have to wish this for the country. Now,
and you like it. And you like it.
Mr. Speaker, the nominee.
And you like it.
The nominee,
Honorable Collins, he is seconding the motion, so just let's tolerate. Honorable Collins, I know why I'm tolerating.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Collins Dauda is a very experienced member of this House. He is recounting his own experience, but he knows. He calls me Miwafase. Mr. Speaker, he knows that some of us who were in government never supported a thing like this. He knows that for a fact. And Mr. Speaker, senior members of this house know that there are some members of this house who have the conscience of the society we live in and have never supported any actions detrimental to them when they were in opposition. They know. This is not the time to mention names, but they know. Mr. Speaker, if it was bad yesterday, it remains bad today and it will be bad tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, the nominee went further. Mr. Speaker, the nominee went further without being asked. Produced my own documents on my land. He said that in the name of Ora, they had conducted a search. The good news is that in their attempt to find out whether my land in Winneba belonged to the state, they came to a conclusion that it is not a state land. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I had become aware that somebody had petitioned Ora and had said that the police college in Winneba. Mr. Speaker, my members, my colleagues who are shouting, they should know that this became a subject matter of our proceedings. So I am within the ambit of relevance. So please pay attention. Somebody had filed a petition to Ora claiming that my land in Winneba is part of state lands, and the chair of Ora, in coming to his vetting, carried a search report, and in that search report, at least he got to know that where my building is in Winneba is not state land and have not looted. Mr. Speaker, again, it is important for him as chair and all the members of this Ora to know that, Mr. Speaker, the entire Winneba lands are affected by vested asset through an executive instrument. Mr. Speaker, going further, the nominee, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, if you look at page 30 of the 103 report, I quote, the nominee promised to furnish the committee with the following upon request by the ranking member with the leave of the chairman. There's a list of documents that he promised to furnish us. The nominee has been able to furnish the committee with a documentation only on the survey and voter cleanup companies as at the time of finalizing this report. We just need to put on record that there were 9 documents that he promised to furnish us on his own volition. Mr. Speaker, this we have not received. Mr. Speaker, the only 2 they brought, they are still here. The 2 they brought, his company registration, I have it here. Those 2 company registration documents, these are the only 2 that they brought. No, I have captured. Pay attention. I said no, nominee has been able to furnish the document with only on survey and voter cleanup companies. These are the only 2 we have received. Mr. Speaker, we believe that he who comes to equity must do equity. Let the record reflect that this side is not pursuing a member of this house. But, Mr. Speaker, the colleague himself publicly says that he is a public-spirited Ghanaian, and he's on record of always pursuing people and finding out their sources of income, especially the political class. Mr. Speaker, if you are holding people's feet to the fire, Mr. Speaker, I will make this point. If you are holding people's feet to the fire, demanding accountability and transparency, it means that you yourself must demonstrate that when subjected to it, you will.
Honourable member, please.
Mr. Speaker, our colleague Honourable Ablakwa has been taking people on in the public space. He questions people's birth certificates. He questions people's sources of income. He questions people's passports, people's travel. Mr. Speaker, he questions them. If today he lives at airports and provides it on his CV that he lives at the airport and claims that he is a tenant for 8 years, it only stands to reason that he makes available all documents related to the tenancy. We are not pursuing this person. Ablakwa knows that I, Kwame, here will be the last to stand against his political progress. Never. Yes, Mr. Speaker, I will never. Those who know me and know me well know me and what I stand for. I am a politician like you. I will not be the one to be pursuing you. I will not. But to the extent that you do not spare your colleagues, Mr. Speaker, especially during the vetting, I found it very strange that Mr. Ablakwa apparently took the car loan of 2021 because he's on record, both on social media and traditional media, questioning the car loan that MPs take. And he's used the word, it was unconscionable. When I asked the question, he said that 2013, he took the car loan, he used it to buy a Land Cruiser. In the second parliament, in the second term, that was 2017, he used that one to buy 2 saloon cars, and then the third one he used that to buy a combine harvester. Mr. Speaker, you and I know that there is no way the clerk to parliament, upon receiving a letter that a member wants to use his car loan to buy a combine harvester, clerk will not issue a check to a vendor who is selling a combine harvester to a member of parliament. It is not true, and it can't be possible. He has been pursuing people. He is questioning the integrity of members of parliament, that is unconscionable to access car loan. Yet on all the 3 terms he's been a member of parliament, he has relied on these facilities. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to say it is hypocritical, but it is also for all of us as a house to realize that we must be measured in the way we pursue each other and one another and others. Today, he is now going into government. I know Mr. Ablakwa as a true gentleman in terms of his dressing. He does, yes, Mr. Speaker, he dresses well. He wears quality things. He wears quality shoe, quality suit, quality tie. He dresses well, and I respect him for that, and he knows. If tomorrow somebody says, colleagues, this is a serious matter. If tomorrow By mere fact that he's a gentleman, he dresses well, somebody now comes to ask you, how much did you buy your suit? This designer shoe, how much did it cost you? Because, Mr. Speaker, for 8 years, the member says that all he has is his MP salary of 15,000. He says that all he does is his MP work. He has not done other business because the Savvy company, he folded that company up way back in 2015. Mr. Speaker, I am saying this because our colleague has taken a lot of public officers to the cleaners. And this is not personal. This is not personal. He's taken a lot of us to the cleaners. And if you create the impression that you are very holy and very righteous and you are a crusader, yet you don't want to be scrutinized, then there's a problem. So, Mr. Speaker, as a matter of principle, we are opposed to him because of the inconsistencies and the lack of clarity. Mr. Speaker, for the other colleagues, for the other 9 that within 1 hour, they took advantage of our absence to pass all of them. All we can say is that majority, go and sin no more. Go and sin no more. The congratulations bye-bye group. Mr. Speaker, there is a group of 9. Congratulations bye-bye, I wish you well. Mr. Speaker, they even add, bye-bye, take care of yourself. And for them, Mr. Speaker, we will raise a procedural issue at the right time. But we will not stand in their way today because we have no problem with them. We believe that these regional ministers must take office. We can't allow vacuum at the various regional ministries, regional coordinating councils, and even on our colleague Ablakwa, who we are opposed to him. We believe that because that foreign ministry is a very serious, important ministry and organ of state, we will take a decision on him tonight. And let me, without equivocation, state that we will proceed with the same abstinence. We abstain from his decision. It is solely a majority's call. All the sins of Ablakwa are upon their head. Get me water. I need water. Mr. Speaker, this one, I need proper water. This is not a dry washing, just some small water. Yes, Mr. Speaker, this one, we are washing our hands. We are washing our hands to tell them that every sin at the airport hills, Mr. Speaker, I'm cleaning. Mr. Speaker, and I'm cleaning. I am cleaning my hands to tell them that we are not part of the sins that he has committed. All the airport hill sins are on their head. If tomorrow he and his aura start pursuing you, it is on your head. But if he repents and comes back to this house, we will accept him and make him a too. Mr. Speaker, we rest our case.